this meeting to order. We'd like to welcome everybody, our guests and our members here. We appreciate you all coming tonight to help us. We'll start the meeting with going over the minutes from the last meeting, please.
Sure. The call to order was made at 7 o'clock last time. That was February 19th. Committee members in attendance were Joanne, Shannon, Barbara, myself. Those not able to attend were Jim and Sandy Petralia. For guests, we had Ruth O'Grady, and we had Lynn Roberts from the Mendon Historical Society. And we reviewed the agenda and business items from 116. I get that. Okay. One thing that we were looking at was the Mendon Cultural Council in conjunction with the historical folks planning a townwide, or would like to look at a townwide historical scavenger hunt. The purpose is to raise awareness of Mendon's interesting farms, cemeteries, and buildings. QR codes would be placed at each site to have to prove participants reach the site and hand out any information to give more information on that location. The date I think we had said that May 17th. Is that right? Okay. With a rain date of Saturday, June 7th. Start and finish point would be the police station. We are hoping to partner with the Scout Troop #1. The next meeting is on today, 3/12, and business was completed and adjourned at 7:20.
I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes. Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Accepted. All right, before we get on to historical scavenger hunt, does anybody have any other business that we need to discuss? Well, we're gonna do you next.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
All right, if there's no business, we're gonna go on to the financial report from Jim, please.
Sure, so I confirmed today that we've received our disbursement from the state, although it hasn't been credited to our account yet. It's on this $6,300. And then we are continuing to check off the fiscal year 2024 grants, but there remain 3 that are outstanding, but not submitted for reimbursement at this point, and they really should before the end of this month.
Who are the three?
The 3, what?
I have one.
You have one. Oh, yes, which one are you?
The Native American,
Oh, Richard Schofield?
well, yeah. well,
He's out actually, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we know you.
All right, good.
And who are the other 2, please?
Submit it before the end of the month,
We've
please.
got Roger Tickle. Oh, is
Yeah.
he at the door?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh.
Okay, well, we've got Roger. I'll reach back out to him on that.
Yeah,
And who's the other one?
Lisa Shea.
Lisa Shaw.
Yeah, but what are the programs? I have Native Americans.
No, we didn't have that program. That program got canceled.
So you,
Okay.
So the impact of historical misinformation on the lives of present day Native Americans, that did not happen?
That didn't happen. No, she got sick and she couldn't come.
Oh, okay, that's too bad. All right. So are we just gonna say that's not happening?
Right, this year.
Okay.
Should just take the cash instead.
Yeah.
Take the money and run.
Yeah, right.
before we do that, did she give you a counter date to be able to come and
No.
do it?
We haven't been able to contact, she was very sick,
Oh, that's,
so we haven't been able to reach her.
okay, so that.
Okay, all right. Well, then, okay, well, that will take care of that, and you're gonna look into.
I'll look into Roger and to Lisa. I'll-
Oh, excellent.
If you can send me an email, with Lisa's contact information,
Sure.
I'll look at that.
Okay, sure.
Should we send that? Do we need to send you an email to confirm that that's happening? or-
It'd be good.
Yeah,
Okay.
please do that, just so that way you'll
Yeah,
have covered.
Probably should have done that. Yeah.
That's okay.
Great, well, that is good, and so it makes the treasurer happy to see more and more items checked off on the sheet and to know what money we have and what we don't have, and as it's an ongoing adventure. I don't know, if I may not have seen this because I missed the last, because you sent out the acceptance letters, the official
Just the official letters. I didn't, and a W-2 that went with them. I did
Okay.
not send any other like paperwork, like if they wanted to be prepaid or anything like that. I did not. I just sent out the letters and a W.
And what did it say about payment in the letter?
It just said, once your grant is, here's your grant. I forgot what it was. Hold on. Let me look.
Sure. I know that one individual.
Yeah, but you know why? I can tell you why that's happening, because our status on the website says that they can submit for reimbursement before the event occurs.
Right.
They just have to
direct.
direct to the grant.
Yeah.
So next year, when we do the granting, we need to make sure we change our website
Okay.
to non-direct. So that's why. So, hello,
Hello.
hi, I'm Joanne Lamont. Nice to meet you.
I'm Jim.
Barbara. Lynn.
Okay. Cool.
Thought you were gonna do.
Thanks so much, Jim.
Thank you for coming.
Of course.
So we'll go with it this year, but we'll have to watch it really tightly. And then next year we'll make sure when August comes around and they start saying, okay, it's time to prepare for FY 26 grants, we'll make sure we change it to a non-direct,
Right.
right?
Good,
That would be-
that's fine. And again, let me know if anything's being paid up.
And we learn as we go.
We learn as we go. The system is so simple and yet so complicated.
And yet when we learn it, we change it.
And exactly. Oh, just like the whole contract thing the town had to sign in order for us to get our money.
Right, they changed that.
That was new last year. And then again, it came around this year, they tried to send it to someone to sign who's not signing for stuff anymore at the town. And then they had to get the new Jeremy's
Just sign for
to sign for it. And then
this on there, and she would know who to direct it to, the
It-
town clerk. You would think
they,
would send it
they
to the town
did, but they were like, there's like two separate people, like, and she's one of them, and they were reaching out to this other one. It's supposed to, it's like the receiving contract signing. Anyways, all has been resolved, glorious, and we have money, and
clerk. Okay,
thus it shall be.
okay,
Any
great.
questions?
No, so we're good then.
Good.
Well, let's move on to our historical scavenger hunt, why all our guests here came to help us.
Ruth is our president.
Help us to do.
We don't have to stop it.
Lynn's vice president.
Yeah.
Excited story.
Yeah, these are just some,
Thank you.
take the vote, look over, discuss.
Yeah, great.
Oh,
wow.
Hmm.
And again, if we're not sure exactly how you want to go about this,
I wouldn't even know that some of this information was at some of these places.
That's why I knew Jim would be a really good.
I'm sure I'm the least technology oriented person sitting at this table.
I don't think so.
And who's the most?
Yeah, right, that's right.
Probably, I might have run with a clipboard and a pen.
That works.
No, but I mean, you were talking other things. What do you call that little sign there? You can, prove that you were at a certain place.
Oh, the QR?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything I'm saying here, please feel free to upgrade.
Okay. Got it. Will do.
Okay, just some questions that we were thinking to raise as part of the historical societies. You had said on the email that this is townwide. Okay, and the other choices would be, is it just the village center or is it in a focused historic area, like a certain place? But right now, you decided on townwide?
We did townwide, but if you, and you may have to clarify for me at least, I'm not sure about anybody else. The historic district is considered from what to what in town?
Okay, so it's from Hastings Street down Maple Street. It's like a triangle along Main Street.
Right around the-
Right.
Okay, so it's a walking thing that they wanted to do.
You could definitely walk that. Yeah.
Okay,
But also, pretty much along Route 16 for part of the,
Yeah.
by, Means place, so
Yeah.
not quite as high there, but then down the other way.
Okay.
It would expand a good sized area, but if you want to go townwide, you're talking about different monuments that might be in different parts of town, like there's a King Philip War monument.
Yeah.
That
There
where
is.
you live. Yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
Isn't it like by the streets?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that-
yeah.
Is it Providence or whatever that road is?
Right, or Providence.
Yeah.
Do this.
I know,
Yeah.
I think townwide, and the only reason I'm saying that is, we'd like to make it variegated amongst different areas so that people can see the different areas that history is in the town. And, make them think, well, if I'm down near your house with a Phillips, then what other else things down there? Maybe in a future date, they may want to explore it.
Right.
If we stick to just the village, everybody sees the village
right.
all the time.
Right.
And, even though I didn't know some of this stuff existed down there, but you'd like to be able to show them other parts of history in the town.
I think we've got a lot more other things that are
Right, that,
more interesting.
Yeah. that we would
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. We've got
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, so if you could do that, or give us a list of that, or
Mhm.
whatever ideas that you have, we would greatly appreciate it, because I
We
think,
can come up with questions for a second meeting.
yes, please,
After you decide which one.
yeah.
Okay, how will points be achieved? Is it by answering questions? Would you allow, somebody said, could they just take a picture or something of themselves?
We're gonna make QR codes,
Okay,
and those QR codes, are gonna scan into a live database. We're trying to work on that. I've got my husband doing that. He loves me right now. But those QR codes would tell me, okay, Dick went to the
Yeah.
King Philip's Monument.
Sure.
I know he did. But at that monument, what we'd like them to do is that the Boy Scouts are gonna help. I'm not sure if they are, or if somebody else.
I've reached out, I haven't done,
Okay.
and I will get an answer.
But we'd like to say, okay, here's a little bit of the history, but on that also is your next question to take you to your next scavenger hunt. Even though you made it to King Philip's, we need to tell you where to go next. So that piece of paper we hand you will give you your next question, and you're gonna have to figure out where it is.
so again, it's technology as opposed to a tongue depressor with a magic marker.
So this way, it's a combination, it's technology and the paper route.
Okay, so cross off the clipboard here. I'm taking away a planted item, again, probably don't want to do this because you're taking, you don't want to rip up a clump of grass or.
They're not gonna take anything away, they're just gonna go.
Just that
to
piece of
these-
paper.
That piece of paper will tell them
Yeah.
where to go next, and it also, we'll know that they never made it to the other points because
Right.
they wanna scan something.
Sure. Okay, finding answer to questions. One way is to use the signs and monuments and plaques. Like at Founder's Park, there are several monuments and plaques there where they can get answers to. In fact, I wrote some of them down the bottom here, if you want. Those are just some samples of what you could get. If you went to a different, there's a sign, there'd be, it's just a sample.
My God, I wouldn't even be able to answer any of this.
Yeah, but that's what, off the side that you would see.
Yeah, you'd have to find the sign, so that would be good, yes, so it would make them have to look for it. Yeah,
I think even, and it may not be kids, I mean, maybe even new people in town.
yeah, I mean,
Would enjoy going around.
just
like you
take,
say,
just to do something,
And it might, I was thinking after we'd spoken before about, the piece of paper with the information on, depending on how many sites we have.
Mm.
It might be good to have maybe a member of the historical commission, volunteers, people, yourselves, the scouts, whatever, one at each site.
And you can have a
Not-
conversation.
Right, to talk about, and then, if we give the information beforehand, then people can actually discuss and talk about the site and give them hints if they need it, because just imagine you go to the very first site and you can't get the second clue, you're stuck. So, I mean, it's not giving them the information,
Right.
discussing it, maybe dropping a few hints so that they can go to the next one. And
yeah,
I think we could probably get enough people, depending on how many sites you
Yeah.
decide to go with.
well, we were thinking maybe 10.
Okay.
And is that a good number? Do you think would be a good number, 10, or do you think we need to do less?
It all depends on your time frame.
Well, we decided we were gonna run it from, the scavenger hunt would be from 8 a.m. till 11 o'clock, so it's 3 hours. That they would have to be able to go out, find all 10 sites, and then be back at the town hall police station for say around 11:15 or so that we could do a tally of everybody. And then we were talking about giving prizes, like for persons who did it in the quickest time, or who got the most correct. If we've got a
The
lot,
youngest person.
the youngest person, yeah, you know, different things
Yeah,
like that,
maybe we'll do-
different
yeah.
things with.
And the thing is, the time frame may, depending on how clustered this is. I mean, if it's, if it goes from one end of town to the other end of town, then it's gonna take, you're gonna have a little bit of transportation time.
Right.
So,
So that's why I said we can start with 10, but we could always whittle it down just to figure out what 10 sites you guys feel would be
Yeah.
good to do this
I
to.
think once you've got your 10 sites.
like the best,
plan your
the best
journey.
of Mendon.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, yeah, but
Okay, do you take out your cell phones and go to Google? Go to, hope1842.com, menu. Hope1842.com, menu.
So if you go to Hope, 1842.com, scroll down on the left, you will see a button that says amended in the list of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on the left.
Okay, so then you'll see, one is for buildings. Okay, one column is for buildings, another one would be for, historic people. What's that?
Aerosmith, I love that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, as you know, they played the first concert.
Yes.
So anyway, did you all find it?
Mhm.
The website?
Okay.
Okay, why don't you take a few minutes and just cut it together? And see, this would be another way of finding information, because not every place has signs. So Danny Malloy, who is a historian from Hopedale, and also very clever at this kind of thing. He said he would line it up for answers for any site. Like just say you did one of the houses on Main Street, there's no sign, okay? But you could go to that and he'll have it set up for you, so you'd have to read that. And you could think of a way to show how you found the answer, however, the public council decides what you want to do, so. Have you all had a chance to see it, just did it exist?
yeah,
Does that sound something usable?
yeah, that does sound like something.
That's
you
great.
said, yeah.
We've got a lot more than 10, Dick.
Yeah.
Oh, I had 10, we'll pick 10 and they'll have this.
Well, that's why I say,
Eight
just
through
make
T.
this any way you want.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
Rein me in here.
Right.
You're just
Gotcha.
coming to be quiet. Okay.
And then have hotels.
Yes.
And then have hotels.
Well, yeah, Illinois didn't, for example, would be, I'm talking in the 1600s.
Yeah.
Or the 1700s.
Yeah,
The inn right at the center,
Durant, which,
right across from Founder's Park.
oh,
They did-
White.
Staples,
Yeah.
Yes.
the one that they didn't let George Washington in.
That's-
They let- I do know that, it's like ancient history.
Yeah.
He did not, they did not let George Washington in at the end that night, and he went on to Uxbridge instead,
That's
and
what I thought,
stayed in Uxbridge, and we learned that in history in Uxbridge at least. He made it to Uxbridge.
Half cap.
Must have a text question. Yes.
Somebody didn't have their glasses on that night or something.
George Washington did not sleep here. Not of the rebel rousers.
Another way is, there are some pamphlets, pictures, maps, mass produce, to give to every, now, will everyone be going by himself or herself, or will be
Wait,
in groups of 4 or?
We're gonna let them sign up from teams of 2 on, with probably like a maximum of 6, because you wanna kind of keep them small, but at least this way here, it's teams of 2 to 6, and that way they can go out, go about. But the teams have to stick together, they can't break up and go off and say, okay, I'm gonna do this 6, you're gonna do that 4.
Right.
They have to stay together, that's part of the rules.
So again, we'll make some things available, and if you want to mass produce them.
Well, no, it's not a timed sort of thing. is it?
No,
No, it's not, but
Okay.
we don't want them breaking up, going on around.
Oh, right, we want everybody to go
it's
to.
done in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
45 minutes and say, you know, whatever, we want
Yeah.
them to do it together.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Now, would you consider correct answers as points? Is that how you would do it? Or you want to
When
think
you
about that?
mean correct answers as far
In
as,
other words, on the sheet or whatever, they get a, you know, they get the right date or something like that, they get a point. Is that
we
how you
could
would do
think
it?
about something about doing something like that too, to add to it, yeah.
Are there other ways that they could earn one? You know, just something to think about, that's all.
Mhm.
Bruce, what do you think?
I don't know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just thinking about if we do the, you know, if it's timed, the first person to finish and get back or something like that. Or if not, I guess you could do like a point system, but
The thing is, I think if we put a time frame on it, if you want to have people get there as quick as possible, you're not gonna have a conversation.
No.
I don't have time.
And that's right, that's the only
You know,
thing. you-
Something to be
If you're not doing it for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, geez, look at the
To
time.
learn about it and
But
just,
it's also supposed to be fun.
yes.
And if all of a sudden you can't talk to anybody because you've got to rush off and you've got to go to the next
Yeah.
one.
No, it's not.
No, they've got 3 hours
Yeah.
to do it, so.
And the other thing too, this is a good family.
Police calls about scouts.
To go from different sites, you know, you don't want people driving real fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They've
Got
got to
parked
have,
in other people's driveways, which, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're
Go down too well.
Oh, yeah.
we'll have
Yeah.
ton of rules, no parking people's driveways, no, anything out of
So
the,
maybe we shouldn't even consider having an award
No.
for the quickest.
no, we won't do
We
that.
don't, we're not promoting that.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
We're like,
It's
you know,
not a race.
And that's what we put down, safety concerns and walkers, drivers, the police department should be aware of this.
I've asked to be scheduled to go to selectmen's meeting so that I can get on their agenda. Sure, that will come up, so.
Yeah.
Private property issues. There aren't too many that you can't see maybe from the road, but I'm just thinking, maybe some of the ones we might want to skip, like Harriet Bonnie's, I don't know. It's
Oh, up on the hill.
yeah, from the hill.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say,
Ammunition magazine from,
yeah, I'd skip that.
yeah, okay, but it means you have to go up there drive.
No smoking allowed when you walk in there.
Yeah, yeah.
don't let the animals out.
Yeah. The horse not out of the barn.
Right. But I think it might be good, you know, as we said, if there's 10, we've got a really good list here that's already been done for us.
Yeah.
Maybe pick some out from
Yeah.
that and pick which might be the most accessible, the most fun.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they might not historically be the best if it's just like a monument or something there, but there might be some that are maybe more fun. You know, like the Omni Cook Shop, if we had some people going down there.
Yeah.
And there is parking and different things that
Sure.
you can do. Maybe just be careful which ones are selected so that everybody can get to it.
Well, like, the old, Pine Hill Cemetery, that's still along with Revolutionary War. Very.
What are your recommendations? Because you guys know Mendon history wise better than, I'm gonna try to.
That's
Yeah.
On the list that you have, what do you think would be?
Is it something maybe the three of us could get together?
You guys.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
We have to do, we just want to make sure that.
No, you can do
Right.
it. We don't want to put it on recording either, because if we do that.
Right, everyone's gonna look them up.
Everybody's gonna be like, yeah, we're recording. So this way here, if you guys could give us guidance on that, that would be fantastic.
We can easily come up with.
Yeah, and then, you know, we can kind of say, okay, yeah, that sounds good, and then
Right.
we'll move it along, and,
Do they still do it from the high school to the school? The kids still go down and walk around the village?
You know, I don't know, there's different principles.
Yeah.
When I was there, I was fortunate because several of the administrators were also history majors in college.
Ah.
So they're no fathers kind of thing.
Did you do that?
Hmm?
Did you do that?
I don't think so, no.
You walk around the square with Mr. Green?
I went to the trolley tours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, yeah.
So some of those kids, if they went, they'd be familiar with the center of town, but they wouldn't be familiar with the outline.
We can talk.
Yeah, Yeah.
We can put a few tricks in.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Well,
But as far as the rules go, we have 2 to 6 people on a team. They are not to touch the property at all.
No, literally.
No taking anything. We encourage them to ask questions to the person that will be at the site. They're gonna have to take a picture of the QR code in order to prove that they were there.
so there'll be a QR code in every.
Every site.
So that's essentially just like a login.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you scan it, it'll say,
That shows I was
I
there.
was there.
So who will be in charge of this? Somebody from the society? You, okay. Oh, you said your husband.
My husband's working on that.
And he works for
If he's watching this.
No, he's not even watching this. He knows he's doing it, it's like.
Tell him if he doesn't do it, we're gonna go.
Well, it was funny when we did the scarecrow contest in the fall. I happened to be in Florida at the time and I needed pictures to upload on the site. So I sent him with the map where all the scarecrows were and I'm like, take me a picture, take me a picture. And then he sent them to me so I could upload them.
Yeah.
How many did you get?
We had 22 participants, I think, in that, which was really, I was shocked. I
22 people who
Well-
displayed.
displayed,
Yeah.
Yes,
22 people who displayed.
well, that's residential and commercial.
Commercial.
So that was.
Really good. And we had them all over town. And put a map on the town website so that people could drive and look. And we learned this year because we had them email their votes. And next year we're going to hand QR codes out and you scan it and then put your vote in. It ran for the month of October and it was,
Yeah,
people
well,
thought it was a lot of fun. And I liked it because I liked when I drove through town and I saw like Miss Mendon, you know,
Yes.
it's sitting there and at the police station with the, the policeman and the box of donuts. It's just cute to see, so.
What would they actually be writing the answers in, like their cell phones? Is that it?
They could do that. I gotta figure that out. They may have to do that, or they may have to, do it on a piece of paper. I gotta figure that out.
What did they do it for the scarecrow?
They, voted as far as, and they emailed it to us on the website, but I gotta look at that, because I remember seeing something on one of the QR codes that you could answer questions, answer the questions, so I have to look at that, but yeah.
So is this just for Mendon residents, because I remember for the scarecrow, we didn't know if it was people from Milford voted and people from.
This one here, we're gonna keep just for town residents, there's people in town that can participate. The scarecrow, like you said, we didn't know, because people came from all over. One lady happened to be out this way with her grandchildren, she saw one and went and followed the rest of them and took them around looking at it, so, But yeah, this one we just amended residents.
Okay, private property, you're gonna just avoid it, right?
Avoid it, please. Thank you.
What about other towns then? You know anyone, other towns that are doing this, you might.
It's funny,
Yes.
today I happen to be looking because I'm off on Patriots Day, so I decided to Google online what's going on because of 250th anniversary. And Lexington is doing a historic scavenger hunt.
Where is Lexington?
That could be stopped.
That's a very.
Yeah, I noticed it. It was like historic scavenger hunt. I was like, oh, wow. So that was the first time I had seen that
They
anywhere else.
probably heard on the.
Yes,
They were-
we're not gonna let Mendon,
But-
one up us.
It's one of the activities that they've got on Patriots Day.
If not, it might be interesting just to see.
I think it's online. I'll take a look at the link the next time I go and I can always.
That was Lexington?
It was Lexington. I think, yeah, it was Lexington because it was in the calendar. I was like, wow, they're doing this scavenger hunt. Sometimes I have good service in this town, sometimes I have bad service in this town, depending on where I am.
That's all right, it's just something to think about.
Yeah, I'll take a look at
Check
it.
it out.
And yeah,
How about the checking with the Mass Historic Commission? Do they have, sometimes they have things that, like, you might be able to use.
oh, I'll have to look at that.
You know, Jane Bolden, like with the boot shop.
Right.
Where is the boot shop, may I ask?
Omni Cook Shop,
Yeah,
it's down, Hartford Ave. You know, as you come round the corner, there's a new development on the left.
You know where the road.
And there's a little
looks like
tiny
Avenue
hut.
on Bellingham Street?
yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so just beyond that little.
the little building, yeah.
Okay.
It's actually really, really cool.
And if you ever need new boots, you could just pull in.
You have to wait for them to come, so you wait a while.
A long while,
Your
right?
shoes resold.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're volunteers at the different sites and not only town officials, but also Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and
And you will, and possibly a friend, right?
Yeah, me and Jack, yes.
Okay. So that would be Jen.
And I'm sure we can get some from the historical commission. Without doubt.
And if the Boy Scouts do reach out to the, you tell them this can go towards their community service.
Right.
Yeah.
Any that they do.
You need community service for school?
Hmm?
You need community service?
I don't think so.
We'll do it anyway, just in case.
Yeah.
That's what we tell
They
them.
have to do it.
Mhm.
But yeah,
hey, what else would we recommend? Well, we'll be happy to make up the questions for you if you want.
please,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
please, that'd be fantastic.
And you can use, you can make extras, and pick the ones you want.
See, Dick's been doing this for a long time, it's classes, so.
He's the town historian, so yeah.
Stories.
Yeah.
We all contribute in many ways.
Dick
So,
is the one-
Where are the sites exactly? If I can get the sites, I can think of some questions. I'm thinking, right by Unibank, you know, the big field that's there, the vacant field. that's there.
Founders Park.
Yeah, well, across from,
The old men greenhouse.
yeah,
Across the street there down.
I'm thinking like across from Clough, the giant open field where the two
Yeah.
houses used to
Where
be.
it used to be
The
the,
question like, when were these houses demolished and shocking or something, really put that in it.
See, you can ask questions where you can find out. It's a good point, it's just.
Yeah. Just a thought,
Maybe
you know.
something there, right, for them
We just have
To
to
read or
be
something.
able to give them ways to find an answer.
the other thing that you could do following on from that is once you've been to one site and you get the question to go to the next site to figure it out, we could always do some way of, giving them a route to follow where you could say, well, this is Founders Park, and if you look straight across, you can see this from here. This was an apple orchard, but it's
Oh, I
not
like that.
what you're going to, that's not the next place you're going to, but it's giving them an idea
You'll
of
drive right.
route to follow, you're gonna drive by it. So that, later on when you're driving, like I drive my granddaughter and say, oh, look, there's the library, she goes, "Oh, the library." You know what I mean? If you've got kids with you, a route might be a good way to do it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that-
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you can actually do, and at each one, when we give them the piece of paper, where we put like the questions on and a route, you can actually add it on there if you want to, rather than give them a map of where you're going to next, because that kind of defeats the purpose. But you can just say, as you're driving, look to the left and you will see if you can see it. Something like that.
But you'd have to tell them like what street it was on, right?
Well, if you're leaving from one street and they get the clue to where they're going next, we can give them, I mean, you're not going to give them exactly where they're going, but
No,
on
but
this
they-
route, you will see.
know what part of
Yeah,
town
We
they're
could say
Yeah.
head
in. If they're
north,
not.
head north, or
Yeah.
head west.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't know which is.
I know.
Yeah.
Take a pencil.
Let me see, let me get my compass out here.
Compass on your
Ah,
phone.
yes.
Yes,
No, I need.
Because I'm
lots of
thinking-
driveway people.
We're gonna have a.
yeah, I see, the sun is right, that was the east.
The street, and you're not.
Yeah, you're not telling where.
Last Avenue with influence up.
That's it, I'm going that way. I have a question on this, on this website, there are like millions, or I shouldn't say millions, there are quite a few
Oh, Danny
locations.
Boys?
Yeah,
Oh,
That's impressive.
Yeah.
of the one, are they town owned, private owned? Like you said, like King Phillips, who owns that monument, the town, or is it on somebody's private property?
okay, that was in front of Paddock's house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the town just bought it, right?
right.
Yeah, but I don't think that piece, well, I don't know if that piece
Well, it's
of
not,
land was
I would say
actually,
that's town.
yeah.
I think
so.
that's a bit.
That has to do with the King Philip.
Yeah.
War.
Okay.
There's a monument there, and we tell,
The town owns it.
Matthias Puffin's wife and child, I think, were killed there, and, you know, so there might be some questions about that.
Okay,
Now, are you looking for just 10 questions, or, because we could come up with a lot more, like if you're one,
Yeah,
these are all just questions just from one place.
Mm.
you could probably put like 1 or 2 questions for each site,
And then we'll pick,
and then we can,
Okay,
whittle it down.
whittle it down, or, we could say, oh, yeah, Founder's Park, let's leave the 3 questions that you gave us, so that way there,
because there are several monuments and signs and
Right.
Right.
things that are there at Founder's Park, that you could get a lot of questions.
Or Founder's Park, they could have to pick up 3, maybe 3
Yeah,
sites.
one, but they must.
Get one.
yes, but that is a good question though, because there are a lot of things like the Amadon Tavern that is privately owned. So, I mean, maybe we should just do town-owned things, or,
But they could just,
They
they
could
could
take-
stand in Jane's driveway, just say, don't go any closer than the driveway. They
Yeah.
wouldn't be bothered.
Or they could even stand across the street.
Oh,
like
we
Founder's Park.
and the other thing is, I mean, most of these people that have these monuments or old properties or whatever are townies anyway, so I think you can just say,
Or
hey,
the
listen, this
historical
is what we-
cemetery in your backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially like with houses and things, we could do something.
My only concern is any kind of liability.
Right,
For
Yeah.
a residential, privately
Right.
owned
Yeah.
piece of
Oh,
property,
yeah.
you know, whereas a town, I don't worry. I wouldn't worry about that.
no, because they haven't got any money anyway, so.
Yeah, right, assuming, go ahead.
Good
There
reason.
you go. No, but maybe then we kind of work on pulling 10 or 15 and then you can select from those. And we can give you more information if they're private or they're not. And then you can pick from those and we can come up with a question. I don't think it's going to take too long to actually figure that part of it out, because I mean, you guys know most of it anyway. But, I think we do that and then you can work back on the question.
Might want to have some practice runs early. Just how the ones might take, you know.
look, like, I know like in
If it's
Uxbridge,
questions, it's gotta be.
like in Uxbridge, in the library upstairs in Uxbridge is the, gravestone to the first free African-American. The gravestone is up stored in the library, so, I mean, I don't know, like you could do a question like that in Uxbridge, like, where is this gravestone? Something like that. Different.
Or even with-
bless you.
Even with the different cemeteries, which, I mean, we can just focus on the ones that are town owned.
And is
I
there
mean,
even famous there?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot
So
of-
if there,
Yes.
but so if somebody is like, you could pick a famous person, so they have to go into that cemetery,
Yep.
find that gravestone and,
Mhm.
make that way.
Right.
Like, I don't know if does Mendon have a time capsule buried anywhere that they need to dig up in future years?
I'm checking the front.
Because you could say, where's the time capsule in Mendon? And kind of give them an idea and have them have to go there and, this piece of property contains a watch from 1621, and it's buried in this area of the town and, and stuff like that. So, just different things like that to give people an idea.
Yeah.
But if the cemetery, if there's famous people and you can give 1 or 2 to have them go see the gravestones, be able to
Mhm.
see who they are and maybe
Yep.
learn something about them. That would be great.
Sure. Right, this-
When's the next select,
Well,
meeting?
they're in the midst of doing budgets.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure when I'm gonna get on their agenda, so I'm gonna stop in and see Jeremy myself and talk to him and say, listen, I know 5 minutes of your time, please, and this is, he knows we're doing it, cause,
Right.
what's her name? I'm gonna say her name, Elena.
Elena, she will get you.
She reached out to me asking me for if she could give my cell phone number to Jeremy, because I
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to ask questions about it. So I think I'm just gonna take 5 minutes of my time, maybe tomorrow I'll stop over, I'm working from home, and say, Jeremy, you got 5 minutes so we can discuss this and see what he thinks. And that way there, but they are aware of it, because I did reach out and say, you
Okay.
know.
But just so the police know that, there's gonna be a whole bunch of people on that
Well,
Saturday morning.
I can always go talk to the police chief myself too. I can stop in and take 5 minutes of his time and just say, listen, we're planning this is what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be for the town. I'm sure people.
Working on a brief presentation to the select.
Yeah.
folks.
So
Okay.
that'll be there.
This is May 17th.
May 17th,
Yeah.
correct. Saturday morning, yeah, correct.
And it's from 8 what?
8 to 12, but the time will be from 8 to 11.
No, nothing else going on around the town.
No, we checked the calendar. We wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Well, the next day is the workshop at
Well, that's
Swanfield
what I was
Cemetery.
saying.
No, that's the 18th, I checked that, yeah,
Ruth, is that the 18th?
the 18th, right, yeah.
You guys cleaning
On
the
the Sunday.
cemetery?
We have someone coming, a couple from Borough, Rhode Island, and they do stone restoration,
Oh, cool.
okay.
gravestone restoration.
Put them in order.
It's really good.
Well, they did a presentation last Sunday at the Unitarian Church.
I know, I couldn't
It's a
see it.
slideshow
Just go.
presentation on how they do it and the whole thing. So they're going to actually come, the Friends of Swandale hired them to come. And they're actually going to restore a stone, and they're gonna give blessings on how to clean the stone properly.
Yeah.
And,
Is it just one stone they're doing?
I'm not sure yet.
Normally, no, it takes a long time.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Takes
They're
a
gonna
long
be there
time.
from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
And they will have all the equipment and, but there are certain things, if you wanna help clean a stone, that you can bring with them, list those.
Right.
Do you have to sign up for that if you
Yeah,
want to do that?
yes, they would like you to register because they'd like about 20 people.
They're gonna get a lot more, because when we did it down at Bicknell, I mean, we ended up with like
They
13.
registered, did they?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, they did?
they did register.
Okay,
But I think we had like 30 plus
Could be, yeah.
people that wanted
Did you
to
do
come.
it?
You pull in?
What did you do?
We did it at Bicknell
Yes.
5 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Heck now.
Bicknell Cemetery.
What's that?
It's the one on Hartford, opposite like the airport.
With, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, you know where that is. If there's somebody's house, it's the back behind.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if you go down that way and on the,
Not quite, Eddie, is that?
the,
That's
will
right.
be the north side, I think, of the cemetery, actually, just the very end before you get into,
Yeah,
the cemetery ends.
it's.
There's like
Great.
4 gravestones there.
That's messed up.
And you'll see the one that they repaired was one of the oldest ones, it was actually broken.
It's a deciding factor. but
And
going
they
there-
just pulled it up, reset it, did everything, and then they swept it cement, put it together, then cleaned it.
Loved it.
And you'll see these 4 stones on the white one in there, and the crack. And it's incredible.
I'll have to go look.
And they did this whole thing, the presentation, about the special epoxy that you use, and how you spent, and
Yeah.
how the stones, expand.
Yeah.
And so on.
And what you should use as well, because what started it with us was some people were cleaning stones in town, but not using the D2, right? To clean it, and they had been using like pressure washing
Right. That's what I-
and different substances. The stones look absolutely amazing. They're not gonna last, and you've actually damaged the integrity of the stone.
Did you use vinegar or vinegar and
No,
water?
just water actually is the best. But also, what I've used was, wet and forget.
Okay.
It's very similar, but they recommend this D2 because
It's
this
a biologic.
has been researched.
Okay.
And they actually know that it's not gonna hurt your stone.
It keeps the
Wet and
light
forget
and
is
all
still.
that.
Everything on
Moss.
it, yeah.
And is there like a special brush you use?
Actually, there's a regular soft brush
Brush,
or
Nothing metal.
nothing metal, plastic
plastic
scrapers.
scrapers. Once you've sprayed it on and it sits, and then you just scrape it all
And if you
Fabulous.
wanna come, they're saying to bring a spray bottle.
Yep.
We'll have D2 there and then you mix it, because it
Yeah.
doesn't take too much D2 in the water to.
Mm.
And this D2 keeps working. It doesn't work instantly, you don't spray it on, wow, stop. You do come back like in 2 months, 3 months,
Yeah.
6 months.
And you can't do it more than once every 5 years. It's really life to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot. And it was interesting, wasn't it, that they showed,
Oh, yeah.
they even showed like some of the stones, how they've taken them out of the ground.
Hmm.
And how they find a date on the bottom, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Or sometimes the maker of
The price, right?
the price, yeah, the price of the stone.
Wow.
$6 and something.
I really got it.
That was a lot of stuff back then.
The stone underneath there, right?
Yeah.
Like that was,
Pedestal.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
yeah,
yeah.
It is.
But
it's quite a presentation that they do.
Oh, yeah, that was.
And they do this is their retirement.
Wow.
They both retired.
Huh.
And they wanted to do this as a hobby in their retirement, and they have done, I don't know how many cemeteries in Burrowville, Rhode Island.
Yeah, yeah, like so many.
They live in Burrowville,
Yeah.
and some of them, they have to go way in the middle of the woods, and they have to take water,
Yeah.
Wow.
barrels of water with them, because the stones have to be wet before they put this wet
Yeah.
D2 on it.
I actually gave them my contact information because the cemeteries that they're talking about, I work down in Connecticut. There's a cemetery where I work way up off in the woods and like, you guys help us? All overgrown, poison ivy and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I was at Prospect Hill today.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the presentation, you start seeing all the knocked over graves and I'm like,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that she just coming mentions it and you stop.
I never, I can get permission too for whoever stone they're going to, you know, we.
Yeah, because
Right.
it's.
No, I'm curious.
So if they
Back
can
in,
do-
back in the day, were the stones, were they marble?
If it's
They,
a
were they
town
granite?
Slate.
Ask the town.
Slate.
If
And then it's like a
it's town
limestone.
line, let's say it's
Yeah,
town.
it's very soft.
Which is
You
very
know that
soft,
Right.
and he said that eventually
Sometimes
kind
you
of
don't.
turns to
But you're
Just
not
like
actually,
sand.
it's
Yeah.
sand.
owned by the town, it's a disused.
Connecticut, he said there's a lot of brownstone.
It's really similar, Swandale,
There's a lot of brownstone. in
you know,
Connecticut.
the majority of the ones that you're gonna start with are the oldest cemeteries.
Was
and
not
that's
really
really
to marble,
And so, you know,
And
that's.
so that's, marble and granite, granite, and
It
that's.
is wise to
Yeah, much
ask,
harder.
not to just
Right.
run in and do it.
And then they talked about
are
the
you in
base,
the
they have to put
cemeteries
it.
at all? In Mendon?
And years ago, what they used to do was like.
So how
a hole
close does
in
the
the wall.
basement need to be?
Yeah.
It'd be like some
But then that's
18th
different.
cousin, 600.
Because it was so far.
If it's a
So then
town
it's
owned
stone.
cemetery, if it's a disused
So sometimes,
cemetery.
you know, sometimes people say, oh, you know, there were vandals in the
The
cemetery.
family.
No, they
let's
just-
try and like.
Or it's just
Obviously,
the
it's
frosties.
Exactly. Mother Nature
Because
takes
even
over.
the
Some of
summer,
them have
some of them
no,
are still private property.
foundation.
People don't want you running if they aren't doing anything. For
Yeah.
the most part, everyone's gonna be through.
You know, the foundation that they put on.
The pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them don't have that, they just right in the ground, so
Oh.
the frost heat kind of, you know.
They're going over.
If I, just a suggestion, if you're looking for volunteers for this, the cemetery and the stone restoration project, if they're gonna be there 9 to 5, you might just want at least divide the day in half and have, you know, different segments, like maybe.
Well, I mean, some people might not stay all day.
Right, I'm just saying that if you think you might get more than 20 volunteers total, well, maybe someone wants to sign up for a 9 to 1 and another person would take that slot from 1 to 4 or something like that. You know,
It's
just,
gonna be a continual thing, they're gonna be.
Yeah, it's, you know, the problem, if I get what
The
you.
problem-
mean,
it's the
because
process.
If there's some people that wanna go and can't,
yeah,
because there isn't enough room, but when what they did last time anyway was they don't just show you, they'll start by showing you how to clean the stone.
uh-huh,
And so everybody gets to see how to clean a stone, then they'll get on to, you know, how to actually move a stone, how to repair a stone. So there's all different things that are going on.
Mm,
And then you kind of go off, pick a stone and clean
Working.
it. So at the end of the day, you know, you've got a cemetery where 20 stones might be.
But there's probably gonna be somebody there too on the ones they're repairing.
Right,
You're gonna,
right.
there's gonna be.
because you're
That's
only
a,
really.
that's a whole separate process.
Yeah, it's really the cleaning that you're gonna get, because they will show you how to do it, they bring their equipment to do it, but there's a lot of equipment involved in it as well, when you're actually repositioning stones and repairing stones. So there wouldn't be enough for everybody to do that.
mm,
So they kind of do that, show you how to do it, but they're not actually encouraging you to do that.
mm.
That really does need somebody who knows what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
But
We
then
have some
everybody will
flyers
clean
also.
it, yeah, everybody then will get a chance to clean
Yeah.
it, and that's the fun part, you know, everyone wants. to-
So, yeah, and I would think if they can train people to do the cleaning, they could probably do that part would be relatively simple, so they could
It-
have
yeah.
2 versions
Yeah,
of that.
it is
But
relatively-
it's just a way to get more people.
Right, but the other thing is, this has taken off so much of, any of you are like on TikTok or anything,
you've got people that are doing this all the time.
Oh, really?
They're just going into cemeteries and cleaning stones or whatever. So it's very, very exciting and people want to do it. So from the last one that we did and then to this one, we're going to get a lot of people. If there are more people that are interested that can't get in, we'll do another one.
Okay,
We've got 19 cemeteries.
yeah,
Or they'll even say where they're going to be the next
Yeah.
time, if you wanna go, you know.
Yeah.
Cemeteries.
But it's nice for us to, it's a start. And I think sometimes you need to be small to start with
sure,
and
sure.
then get bigger. So, but it is, I agree with you. It would be nice if we could accommodate everybody who wants to do it.
But then what we say was to
Yeah.
teach people how to do this, so that you could get a group that could go into the cemetery and start to
Yeah.
read these, you know.
Is this gonna be on the Historical Society website?
It's Swandale, but
Swandale,
but we're gonna put it
Swandale's
on the
private
town, right?
in Mendon. Yeah.
it's gonna be on the town
And it'll be on the
Facebook
town
page.
website.
Oh,
Sign up.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions or anything like that?
I just want to make sure we're gonna come up with, how many sites, 10 sites?
Yeah.
And, but the Founder's Park, we consider like one site. It's
Confound, this park is one site.
Okay, all right, so that's good. And then, maybe each site would have 2 or 3 questions.
Please.
Okay. And want us to, after we decide what the questions would be, do you want us to just email them to you? Or-
Hey, you can email them and then I can email the group. You can email them to me and that way
Will
they-
we be having another meeting?
we'll have another meeting. We'll set that up before we go. And that we do, we can.
Yeah.
Take it from there. All right. All right. So let's take a look at our calendars, everybody. We're gonna schedule an April meeting. Wednesday, April 2nd. Does that work?
No. That's second.
April 2nd. We'll go towards the beginning of the month, knowing we've got some stuff to find.
Sure.
Wednesday, April 2nd, 7 o'clock again. If it becomes a problem, just.
I know
let
time
us
is
know.
fast.
Right.
Come on.
All right.
Mhm.
And I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. Meetings, because they go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
We'll take some lessons here for our meetings.
All right, I have a motion we adjourn.
It's the best.
No chairs thrown or anything?
I know.
It's fine.
Okay, that's when you get outside,
Oh, okay.
inside.